On First News today, we're talking to Lou Denon, and we've talked with Lou before about this helicopter business of his called Sundown Helicopters in the Somerton area. And Lou, this is a most interesting business. We've talked a little bit about some of the things you have to do to prepare, but let's go fly the field, all right?
Okay, you'll find it's an e-ticket ride.
All right, we're going to put Isaac Barrera, our cameraman, in the chopper with you and go on up and take a look at what happens out here in the field. First of all, what is the most important thing that happens before you even get started? Isn't that inspection of the craft?
We have to do a pre-flight. We do that every day, check the aircraft over and make sure all the equipment is working properly before we even go out, before we even take off.
Now, I also know that you have people here that work for you that have to check nozzles on the spray rigs and things.
We go through them every day, make sure all the nozzles are clean, unplugged, and then periodically through the night we have to check them to make sure that we're getting the proper spray out.
Okay, now here you have a form. I forget the number of the form, but this form tells you exactly what your job is going to be today.
That's correct. It's an Arizona Form 1080, which is a form that comes to us from the pesticide advisor that tells us exactly what field we're going to do, what we're going to put on, and the rate that we're going to put it on at.
Now, some people think that, well, maybe they're getting sprayed on over here in the fields because you happen to come close or maybe even have to go over their homes. What's your response to that?
Well, we do our best to avoid spraying anybody or any homes. Sometimes we have sightseers that get too close and we have to chase them off. But actually, if a person feels that they've been sprayed, then there are state agencies that they can contact that will come down and take a sample. And if they have indeed been sprayed, then they'll nail us for it.
Okay, you get cited for that?
We get cited, we get fined, and that goes on our record.
Okay, now another thing about it is that even though you fly over homes, these nozzles shut down tight, don't they?
That's correct. They have anti-siphon devices on them so that they should all shut off, and we may go over a home, but we're gone real quick.
You don't like to do that, though, do you?
Not at all. With the encroachment, sometimes it's hard to avoid, but we can get right in there and get out of there real quick, though.
Okay, and then, of course, you got to avoid schools and daycare places and so on.
That's correct. We have buffer zones that we have to have depending on the material, up to a quarter of a mile away from daycares and schools.
Now, folks, I'm here to tell you, if you have a complaint about any of these crop aerial applicators, that you can call in the Department of Agriculture, and they will come down and watch how you do the job.
That's correct. We have them at the field edge sometimes, and we'll even call them up and tell them to come out and please monitor, just to keep us all on the right path.
Well, we're taking the flight now. Folks are watching all of this. How do you determine when to begin to turn? Do you got all these power lines and things you have to avoid?
Well, it actually comes with experience, but we pull up before then. We have a shut-off in order to avoid getting the drift out of the field, and then we'll come back and trim up the field in order to take the areas that we had shut off.
So you have to shut off in order to catch that little crop on the end. Do you just go make passes and then go around the edges to pick it up?
We'll make the passes and then make another pass along each edge.
And that gets the entire field. 3 categories of types of chemicals, and we'll talk about that next time, okay?
Sure thing.
Okay, we have Lou Denon with us, and Lou's the owner of the Sundown Helicopters, and they're aerial applicators right here in Somerton, and doing a great job for our farmers in Yuma County, and for you too, we might add, because we're eating well. I'm George Gatley. This is First News.